Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming with us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure as well.
So let me know whenever we should start.
Yeah. I'm ready. You can just go on.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. Kashika Bhatia, your host for the evening, welcome you all today to our live session, Entrepreneurship Physiotherapy. Startup culture is moving day by day. Why should physiotherapy stay behind? Global estimate is that 2.4 billion people need physiotherapy services to have a better quality of life. This space is untapped and filled with opportunity. Entrepreneurship is a way to make this opportunity and build a venture that's not just good but great. So to tell us more about this, I welcome our today's guest, Dr. Meghana Dave, founder and CEO of Healthgrehab Bangalore. She's a Neurorehab physiotherapist turned YouTuber turned entrepreneur, and ma'am has dedicated her entire career to build a platform that enables over 1 billion people. So we welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you can start with your session.
All right. Okay. So I guess most of them are students, right? Yeah.
We
All
have
right.
clinicians, we have students, we have a wide variety of
Uh,
audience today.
Okay. So I'm considering this audience is more of physio students and young professionals.
True.
So as she already gave a good introduction, so let's begin with the story how I started with this entire process of venturing into the space. So I graduated. I did my masters and I graduated in 2012, and I landed up in Bangalore after getting married. Bangalore is known as the Silicon Valley of India. So when I moved here, what I saw was an entire different world because I hail from a small town in Maharashtra. So very typical growth where we used to have this, okay, if you want to build a career, then only medical and engineering is the space. There's nothing else. But when I came to Bangalore, it was really fascinating to see how startup culture was just throbbing at that time. It was not even very huge, but I could see huge buildings, huge infrastructures, IT parks, and people who are very excited about building something. So this was a very new thing for me, and that kind of created a curiosity that why not we have something which is so cool that we come with a space of creativity. We can work in the space of building something from scratch, scale it to a level where it can be used by a lot of people. So that was the mindset which led me into this. So I have been into this entrepreneurial journey from unofficially from 2018 when I started as a sole proprietorship. Officially, my company is running from almost 1 year now. So in this process, I have got some understanding. So the idea is to just share that so that it can be helpful for anyone who is looking to pursue entrepreneurship as a career. So first and foremost thing that I would like to say is entrepreneurship, like any other profession, or you can say anything, right? It's a mindset. All right. It is not something that is meant for everyone until unless you have 100%. I won't say even 100%, even you have that inner voice telling you that I want to get into this, then only get into it, because it's a tough space to be in, because you are responsible for almost every single thing, starting from your sales, marketing, team building, finances, everything, right? So there is a huge learning curve. Now, the misconception that people have who are not entrepreneurs mostly, or else who have not seen entrepreneurial world separately, they believe that it's just delegation, like you are paying salaries to someone. So that's your job as a founder. But the job of a founder is way more deep than that, because let's say if you have a team of 10 people or whatever, right? when you go and tell them what you are supposed to do, that's the time they will start executing. So before you tell anything to anyone, it's first you should get that clarity, what you are building, what you are trying to do, where you are taking the direction, right? So that is one thing. And the second thing that again is a misconception that people have is that first, second, third year, and you are on, you will be rich and you will have a lot of money and you will just move on. It doesn't work that way as well. Even the news that we hear, especially Shark Tank India, we see that people getting funding usually. So that too comes only when you have certain level of revenue stream present, right? So there are a lot of harsh realities which are not spoken in media space about entrepreneurship, that if you are thinking of venturing into, you should know about. So do your research in terms of understanding whether you want to get into this or not. Now, I would like to give a clarification of what exactly is entrepreneurship and what is business. What is the difference between two, right? So, business is nothing but you sell a service and you get a return money, right? A straightforward transaction is a business, right? But a startup or is an entrepreneur, or we say it like as an overall new way of venturing, right? Is about finding a problem, finding a solution, testing that solution, finding a product market fit to it, and then building an organization around it. So that's the difference. All right. So let's say if you are running your center where you are a physiotherapist, you have a receptionist or maybe just one or two therapists working under you, right? But if you don't have a clear idea how your clinic is different from the four other clinics around you, right? And how you're going to differentiate in future. Let's say another four clinics come in front of you. Then you are doing a business, okay? A business of simple service delivery. But at the same time, if you are building a venture and startup, right, you have to figure out that what is the challenge or problem that is existing in the space right now, how you are going to solve it, and who is going to buy it from you. That's what is startup, right? So that's why startups and businesses are different. Now the good part is that traditional businesses that used to exist are taking a new way of venturing into startup system, right? So almost every organization or small businesses have the opportunity to turn themselves into a startup or else as an organization, um, or else as a venture that do things differently, right? So that is what is as a startup and what you say business all about. Now the second thing about entrepreneur, who is an entrepreneur, what defines an entrepreneur? So I had one very old client of mine very few years back, and she was professor in IIM Bangalore, and she is also author of a very good book. So she mentioned this thing: entrepreneur means antarprerna, which means that a person who takes inspiration from his gut feeling, from the intuition, and makes decision, right? That is what is an entrepreneur all about, right? So entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur, you should have that ability to listen to your feelings, your gut feeling, your intuitions, stay strong with that, back up with back it up with your facts and figures, everything, right? And stand against say 100 other people saying this is going to work, and then build followers behind it who are going to support you and help you to build that venture. That's what is an entrepreneur all about, right? And that's why it is a tough journey. But at the same time, I would very openly say this, that if you genuinely want to be smart, right? If you genuinely want to grow as an holistic individual, then you should definitely choose entrepreneurship, because that journey teaches you so much that no college in the world can teach you, right? So yeah, that's what is entrepreneurship as an definition, I would say. Now let's say if you are having this plans, or if you are having this I want to get into entrepreneurship, I want to become an entrepreneur, but you are not sure whether is this a right thing for me or not, whether I want to go into it or not, or else what idea to pursue, because there are so many ideas that also comes into your head, right? Now, again, all the successful people who have made it big in their life as an entrepreneur, if you ask them, they will very clearly tell you this thing, that idea has zero value, right? Any idea can be changed anytime. All right. So there's no point in holding back your idea, right? What matters is execution. How fast you are able to execute this, bring it to the market, and create a space for yourself, create the brand name for yourself. That's what is the entire thing about ideation and execution. So, a simplest way to, at least I have done it this way. Let's say if you have 2 or 3 ideas, let's say if you have this idea that you want to create an impact in women's health space, or just an hypothetical thing I was just saying, you want to create some category of services, which is physiotherapy services for women's health domain. Now you are not sure whether it's going to work or not, right? Or how do I go about it, or what should I do, right? The best thing that you can do is sit in the morning when you are fresh, you don't have any distraction, and do something which is called a SWOT analysis, which is called as strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. So you can just make a box and just so strength stands for what are your strong points, what you are good at, what you can bring it on the table, what skill set you bring it, what mindset you bring it, right? In opposed to that, see what are the weaknesses that you have. Maybe you are not good at sales and marketing, or maybe you feel that you are not good at communications, or maybe you are not good at know-how of how the business run, right? So see, figure out what are your weaknesses, and then in the lower column, see what are your strengths. Using these strengths, what are the opportunities that you can create, right? So maybe let's say if you are good at Pilates plus physiotherapy, right? And this two are your strengths, okay? And you know a bit of Instagram, how Instagram works and all those things, right? You can create a freelancing business for yourself at first place, okay? And give opportunity to 3, 4 other freelancers who are also having the similar concept, right? By partnering with them. And let's say if you know that, okay, marketing is something that I don't know, right? Then you find a partner or someone who is good at that. Collaborate and say, using this, I'm going to create a category or platform, or let's say a service, which is going to cater to women's health challenges using Pilates and physiotherapy as a source of service, right? And it is going to bring in many other women's health physiotherapists in the domain, so that it solves a very huge problem, and that is women are facing a lot of movement related issues, right? So then you see what are the threats that are existing. That is also very important to see. Now, what is a threat? Threat is how easily you can be eaten away by somebody else, right? So it could be an existing venture, right? Let's say there is someone who is already doing that, okay? So that is a threat. Let's say how easy it is for someone to enter into this space. Let's say there are so many people who are already into women's health domain. There are so many other people who are also doing Pilates who are not physios, but are very popular. They can take away the work, right? Let's say there are some government regulation that could come in future that can take it away, right? So you have to first analyze what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats. Figure out and see what is the possibility that you see as of now in your capacity. All right. Try that for 6 months, executing it. Okay. Get 1 or 2 clients, not even more, right? Serve to them. See what they are ready to pay for. If required initially, if it's okay if you want to give it for free, no problem. Generally, we feel and we say that don't undercharge. Definitely, that is very true that we should not undercharge. But at the same time, initially, when you are starting out, it's okay to just get started. Okay, to just get feedback. Second thing, people's psychology is always that nobody wants upper hand on themselves, right? Nobody likes to take anybody's obligation. So if you are serving someone and if you are not taking anything from them, they would be willing to give you something back in return. It not necessarily has to be money. It could be a feedback. It could be a referral. It could be anything, right? So be open to accept those things. Once you've done for this for 6 months, you will get a very clear idea what worked, what doesn't work, and moreover it, you will understand whether you want to do this or not, right? Because entrepreneurship is a very long term journey. It's like a marathon, it's not a sprint, right? So when it is a sprint, you run fast, you finish the goal, and you are sorted. But you have to be into the space for a very long period of time. So there should be quarter on quarter change in your programs, year on year change and advancement in your programs. So at least at the starting point, these two things, if you are able to do, you will get an idea whether this thing is there for you or not. Okay. If let's say you fail also, right? But the quality of what you say experience that you will have with that will open up so many doors for you, right? It could be in the form of a new job. It could be in the form of being a co-founder with somebody else, right? Because earlier it used to be boundary based things, but now those boundaries are opening. Everybody is open to collaborate, right? So tech can meet healthcare can meet food industry, FMCG industry. There's no as such boundary that is existing now. We need to be creative enough to figure out that solution that aligns with your own core purpose that is existing for you, right? So when I said this, that entrepreneurship is nothing but antarprerna, which means that what is the inspiration that is coming from within you, make sure that you align that with the things that you are doing. Then only you would be able to sustain it for a long period of time, because there will be days when there will be no income, right? And you have to pay salaries to people, right? When you grow, as you grow in the process, right? There will be days where you will not get clients, basically patients, right? There will be days where things will go very good. Okay. As an entrepreneur, you should be able to sail that boat in that same pace. Okay. It should not be like this for you. You have to go this way. So that's what is entrepreneurship all about. Once you are able to reach that space, I think then everything clears up. Then it's all about clarity and making right partners, being at right place at right time. And I think if you are well prepared, if you do your part good, slowly, every single thing starts falling into the place. So yeah, that's what I would like to say.
It was very beautifully said, ma'am. And I loved how you said that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint that we're running. That's very true. So, if anybody has any questions, they can start posting it alongside in the comment section. So I'll ask a question till
Sure.
then. If one is running their own private practice or a business, then how can they move into entrepreneurship? And how do we, we often say that people who start their own practices are also entrepreneurs. So how do we actually move into it? And how do we differentiate between the two?
Right. See, again, entrepreneur, literal sense means if you're running a business, you are an entrepreneur, right? There's no say about it in a literal terms. But what is an entrepreneur is someone who looks something as a bigger perspective, right? Let's say you are right now running solo. You are running your private practice as a solo practitioner, maybe having one or two team or whatever it is, right? But if you don't have a vision to turn that into something that turns out to be a bigger venture, or else as a bigger organization, or that does not have, what do you say, what is the right word for it, it does not have a very long term goal of scaling up, right? Then it stays as a a small business kind of thing, we have shops, we have small stores, right? So then it stays in that category of service or business, which is absolutely good, right? I would say they are more profitable these days than bigger ventures and startups. Okay, so it is not necessary that for you to make money or to be rich, you have to have a big venture only. Okay, if you are running yourself as a freelancer also, okay, still you can make good amount of money. If you are running a clinic, a private setup, okay, with no plans of scaling up, just want to make that good and run well, there no problem, it can run very beautifully and in a profitable way, right? And if you want to scale into a bigger venture, right, then it takes a lot of time. Okay, so I just like to give this perspective here. So there are three kinds of entrepreneurs, okay, or as business owners, I would say. One kind of entrepreneur, and this is again from a self-reflection perspective, I would say. Like, if you are planning to do something, ask these questions to yourself, like what you want to call yourself or what you feel you look like in future. Okay, so one person is someone who don't have that ambition of building a venture or having a brand, but as an individual you want to position yourself as an expert. Okay, you don't want to work under any other brand, right? Let's say you don't want to work under Apollo, you don't want to work under Fortis or anything. You want to be known as an expert physiotherapist for yourself. Okay, you don't want to, like, you just want your personal brand, right? So this is one type of entrepreneurship. Solopreneurship, we also say this, right? Or this is a freelancer thing. So here you position yourself that I am the expert of this problem. I solve this problem in these three different ways or four different ways, and I have these many clients, and this is how I can serve you. All right, so this is one. The second group or a second type of entrepreneurship is where you create a small brand, which I said, right? If you are having a clinic, okay, you don't want to associate the name of your clinic with your name. The clinic stands alone on its own as a separate entity, okay? You focus on making it self-operational, okay? Which means you have to work as a founder and create a team who is taking care of operations, sales, marketing, finance, team building, and R&D part on its own. You develop it, you train your people, they are doing the task, you earn profits, you maintain that profit with yourself. That's the second kind of entrepreneurship. And the third kind of entrepreneurship, mostly this is the scale businesses. For example, you can say Zomato or any startups in India, you just take it. Flipkart or is there, Amazon is there, right? So these are the scale kind of startups where the idea is to develop or build a bigger venture, a bigger organization. Mostly these are platform based, or which gives opportunity of expansion in different domains, right? There the goal, the end goal is to go IPO, have shareholders, board members and stuff like that. So and this is something, this answer doesn't come on first time. Okay, so I think this is a process. So if you are running a center, if you are in a solopreneur mode, or if you are also running a startup, right, keep on constantly asking, is this for me? Is this something which I'm looking for of doing it, right? And then start working backwards, that okay, this is my goal, this is what I want to build. So now I will do something, because in all three styles the kind of work you do varies completely, right? Because let's say if you are of a solopreneur and if you want to build a personal brand, then I think you yourself are the brand. Okay, there's no other name. So you build your Instagram profile well, you showcase your expertise in problem well, right? You don't name your clinic as any other name but of your name, like Dr. X physiotherapy clinic, Dr. Y's physiotherapy. Then because here the people who are going or coming to visit you will be coming on your name and nobody else's name. Okay, so you have to position yourself as an expert. But this method will not work if you are planning to run a clinic which is not dependent on your name. You have the plans of hiring more physios, working there as an experts and all, right? So then you have to come with a more common name. Let's say, like, for example, Physiotatva or any of that sort, right? So then the process is different. Here, as an entrepreneur, your focus is in team building and creating a next set of leaders who are going to handle these different departments separately. So there should be one person who takes care of the operations. There should be one person who takes care of the finances. There should be one person who takes care of the HR and team policy and stuff like that. There should be one person who handles R&D, because R&D is also very important in any organization, any business. You can't sell the same type of service every year. You have to change, you have to improvise that, right? So that is also needed. And then there's something called as sales and marketing. So again, as you grow into your venture, you can slowly bring in people who are going to run these departments for you. The end goal here is to make tremendous amount of profit, okay, and reap benefits of that, and the people that you have prepared, they are running the show for you. All right. And then when it comes to IPO based thing, right, there the ball game is completely different. So here the idea is to have board members, to have investors, venture capitalists on board. And here you have to build a tremendous amount of team, right? A very big team, something of more than 20, 40, 50 people. So here you have to work on tech because you cannot scale without tech, right? So you have to create something in tech space there. If not tech completely, partial tech, whatever it is, but that should be the goal. And then here you have to create operating systems, you have to create your um, what do you say, governance, HR policies differs completely there, right? And then the end goal should be having an IPO. At the end of the day, when the company goes IPO and is running as a separate thing. So in first one, business and the individual who is running the business is the same person. In other two scenarios, there is a difference. The person who is running the business and the business itself are two separate entities. Okay. And in the third model, right, it's like startup, you can be fired. You are almost like an employee of a company. You are not even, you are just a founder. You can be a CEO, but CEO can be hired again, right? So you are just a founder. You can take your share, you can exit the company, you can sell your company. A lot of things can happen there, right? So yeah, these are the three ways which you should look at.
So we have a question from Dr. Pooja.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, your opinion, what is your opinion regarding teleconsultation? Is it a thing for physiotherapists?
Of course, it's a
Is it
thing. Our company majority works on teleconsultation space, so we are very less in offline. We are very more in online. Again, I say this again and again to a lot of people that teleconsultation is a tool. It's not a business, or it's not like you can't say that I only do tele rehab. Even though if you're doing that, you are limiting your scope. Instead of that, you should say in that way that tele rehab is a very important tool in the way I deliver my service. That makes more sense because you are limiting your scope of practice, right? So tele rehab is a space, and it's going to be uh, a very big gate opener for all the physiotherapists, right? Like you can go global, you can serve international audience, you can make more revenue spending less time. You can do a lot of things in tech tele rehab space, but it's a tool at the end of the day. That doesn't become your specialty. Your core as a physiotherapist stays always that same. So yeah.
So the next question is from Ishan Gupta, and he is saying that it's really good to see you after a long time. And can you share your experience during Shark Tank?
Shark Tank India. Yeah. So Shark Tank is an old story now. But yeah, it was a great experience. I was selected in the finals, but didn't make it to the telecast. So the good part that I learned about from Shark Tank India is your storytelling matters a lot. The way you position and put your offerings in a way that is so presentable and it's so touching that a person who is sitting in front of you gets ready to pay you a paycheck, right? Without even knowing you much in just 10 seconds or 10 minutes of pitch time. That is a separate skill set to develop. Okay. And as an entrepreneur, you should know how to sell your service. You should know how to sell your story. So storytelling, story building is very important. So that was one of my key learning in Shark Tank India experience.
So the next question is, what are the three major problems you faced at your initial stage of your entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So I think the first challenge is not knowing how to do all of those things, right? So what I know right now, if I would have known that before, the things would have taken off much faster. Okay. So because as I said, I started off this in 2015 was the first time when this idea came that I want to venture as an entrepreneur and I want to do this. This is my calling. But I had no clue, like literally no clue what is business, how it works. Never done an MBA, never gone to any B school so that was the biggest challenge, and I have spent maximum amount of time in reading and understanding the theory of business. because people go to business school and learn business. Definitely there is a method to madness of any sort of business. So you should, if you are venturing into generating or running a business, you should know the theory of it. Then only you can implement, right? So that was a very big challenge. Never had any professor or anybody who can teach me. So figuring it out, Google, YouTube was the lecturer. So that was big challenge. Second, building team is, it's not easy to build a team, and especially inspiring someone and asking someone, that you give your time, your energy, your efforts, your skill set to me to build this venture along with me, right? It's not easy. You fail a lot of time in that. So that was the second challenge. And the third challenge that I feel was in terms of time management or productivity, right? Like how you define your time, utilize your time in the very right manner. So, but again, every single thing is a process, it's a learning, and that's a journey. So a journey becomes only beautiful when things goes on the way. So I don't regret for that.
Okay. So the next question is that can you share your way of collaborating with others, basically your first step of approaching?
Okay. Okay, so see, we have certain criterias when we onboard physio. So I'll just give you a context because I think still people don't know what at as healthcare rehab we do, right? So see, healthcare rehab is we call this as that we are India's first uh, multi-speciality or super speciality physio rehab platform. So that is what is our positioning. What we mean by that is that if a person is looking for a specialized service, a very niche based service, this platform allows you to do that. Okay. And our mission is very simple. We want to help 1 billion people globally move better. This keeping this mission in mind, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a place where any individual with any sort of movement related issues, right, be it musculoskeletal, neuromuscular, or any sort of issues, can get a solution for that problem, right, be it online or offline. So first layer, what we do is we create awareness about the problem itself very deeply, right? So we have our YouTube channel and we do a lot of content in terms of offline and online activities, just at first place to raise awareness what exactly that problem is and how physiotherapy can solve it. So that's our first layer. Then the second layer that we do have into that is community building. So we create small support groups for different condition specific issues. Like we have a pediatric support group, we have a support group for facial paralysis patients. So this place we kind of engage people more deeply. So we organize webinars, we create content, we give a lot of offers to them in terms of products and all. The third layer is we have created condition-specific rehab programs which are designed and delivered by expert physiotherapists. So we have in-house as well as out, consultant physiotherapists on our platform. Now, there are few criteria to get into this. Number one is the therapist has to be an MPT. Without that, we cannot, because when we say that we are giving the platform to only experts in certain domain, right? So that is one important aspect. The second thing, you should know your niche. Let's say if you have an experience or your passion is around pediatric rehab, and you have worked in that space, right? And you want to expand your horizon in pediatric rehab, then you are eligible to be part of the platform. So then we list you in the platform, we work with you, and we help you to create your online program. And then we give you the visibility on our platform that you are an expert for this problem, and we help you to generate revenues in multiple ways. So number one revenue that you can generate is by organizing your webinars where people can pay, and people get an opportunity to get a one-on-one interaction with you, which is a low ticket webinar, basically not that high. Second, they can take consultations online or offline. And the third one is they can buy that program package itself. Along with that, we also are having a marketplace of rehab products and tools. So if you are a therapist in the service, if you're part of the venture, then you get an opportunity to also do paid promotions and to test these products. And if you want that this product is good, if you want to advocate and partner with these companies, then you get an opportunity to do that. But yeah, so from a step point of view, these are the three important steps that you should fulfill, and then only we take you in terms of Neurorehab, a platform that we have got.
So we have two questions related to teleconsultation itself. How to start the process of teleconsultation, and Dr. Pooja is asking any do's and don'ts of teleconsultation.
Okay, so I think I have shared this webinar that happened recently. So see, healthcare, right? At the end of the day, we are healthcare professionals, and people rely on trust. Like the biggest factor that matters is trust factor. Okay. Now, whenever you are associated with a good brand, okay, the ability for a person to trust you is easy. So let's say if you're working in Apollo hospital, okay, that patient would be able to trust you more compared to if you're working in a small clinic, compared to if you're working in a home care setup as an alone, you are not associated, you just go to home. And so the trust level keeps on decreasing, and when it comes to tele, it is fully low. Why? Because person is sitting somewhere else, you are sitting somewhere else, the person has never seen you, don't know you, nothing. How he can trust his or her health on you, right? So the first thing that starts here is how you start building trust among people who are going to be your patient. So having your digital presence is very important, right? You cannot survive in today's world without a digital presence. So have a very active Instagram profile, have a very active LinkedIn profile. If you're good at writing, maintain blog. If you are still more professional, want to go more professionally, build your own website. It doesn't charge much to have your own website. Have it so that people who are looking to take your service can go and first see who you are, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what you are serving as, right? Then comes on, once your digital presence is on, right, create certain processes for yourself, a pattern of service that you give. Like let's say if a patient reach out to me from an email or as a DM or phone, right, what is the process that this patient has to go through to take this therapy from me, right? Is there a consent form that you are sending? Is there a discovery call that you are having first before having the consultation, or you are directly asking them to pay? What is and how that person is going to book an appointment for you, right? Is there a place where it's possible for this person to book an appointment for you? Figure these things out, right? Then work on the session itself. Now the somebody has bought a service from you, and now this is the time you are delivering, right? So have this mantra for yourself: always under promise and over deliver. Okay, don't do reverse. If you over promise, under deliver, he will never come back to you. But if you under promise and over deliver, then that person will stay forever with you. So make sure to add value to people's life before asking anything. So there's a very clear formula that even social media follows in terms of content. Give, and then ask. Okay, so add so much of value before asking that that person is obliged to give you that. Okay, so this could be in terms of your feedbacks, it could be in terms of your extra layers of details that you give in terms of your exercise. So don't be very mechanical in your session that, okay, session started, do exercise. Start your conversation with how are you feeling, that you are experiencing. When they say, okay, this is what happened, give some tips around that, okay, and be open to questions. All right, whether they have read it from Google, whatever. Keep the smile on your face. Be open to questions. Don't show your frustrations, your thing. Have some non-negotiables. Don't entertain every single thing, but at the same time, if the patient is genuinely suffering and is having doubt, don't get frustrated by that. Because I've seen a lot of therapists doing that. Like if somebody is asking a lot of questions, they get frustrated. Like, why you are asking me? Please don't do that, because somebody is asking you because they believe that they can get help from you. They can know it from you, right? So value that part. when you give more time, more attention, they will also be obliged to stay with you for a longer time. So that helps. And third, stay in touch. Also, this is called a CRM, your customer relationship management. So once the therapy session is done, keep a check, stay in touch with them. How you're feeling? Is there anything going wrong? Would you like to improvise? So at least in the initial days till you build your trust factor, for that patient, these are the things that you should definitely look at.
Right. So there's a very interesting question that how do we find a co-founder, because we can't reveal our idea to anyone. I think this is a very good.
So see, I don't also, I don't have a co-founder, okay, so I'm also a solopreneur in those ways. So a very important, I would say, a very common thing that I've heard in a lot of mentoring sessions or talks and everything, and they say this co-founder is like your life partner. Okay, the way the matchmaking making has to happen. Very similarly, for co-founder also, there should be a matchmaking. Like your ideologies should meet, your vision should meet, right? So sometimes if you feel that it is working organically and it's going smooth, then only hurry on to look for co-founder. Keep your search on. Don't stop yourself from getting it, but at the same time, don't forcefully have a co-founder, because the war gets really ugly and you might have to lose a lot of money, especially when it comes to if the thing goes bad, because you are sharing your company share there, right? So if you are splitting up, if you are taking over the company, you have to buy back those shares from that person. All right, so take a lot of amount of time to have clear discussion whether you want to do this or not with that person. Don't rely on only family members, because sometimes friends and even the close friends, because we think that friends we can talk and everything, but certain times in professional setup there could be you can say misalignment of thoughts that could lead to a lot of conflicts, right? So it's okay to be alone if you feel if you don't get that right partner. So that is one thing. Second thing, no idea in this world is something that has not been done before. Okay, there is no secret or anything. As I said this before also, execution is what matters. Okay, if you really have an idea, I would say go ahead, tell it to 100 people. Okay, because when you tell it to 100 people, you will get to know that whether these people are really interested in buying that idea or not. So that is unless you are creating a product, if you're discovering something at its scratch, so discoveries happen very less, where you have to go for patenting and all that stuff, right? Even copyrighted content also gets copyrighted always, so and gets popular. So there's nothing as such as original idea or anything. First, try it out, test it out, and then see what to do.
So we have two more questions that one can start with solopreneurship and then jump to the second type of business, that is clinic building. So how does one do that?
Right. So when I said like solopreneurship, as I said, I'm still a solopreneur. Okay, so like I am the only founder of the company. When I meant by solopreneurship, what I meant was how your vision is, right? Like whether you want to continue as a single person service and just delivering my own service, or I want to build something which is beyond me. Okay, so I think have this question inside your head, what you want to do. Okay, starting, you can always start as a freelancer. Okay, as a single individual doing service. I would say like I recently turned my sole proprietorship company into private limited just a couple of months back. Till that I was a sole proprietor. I was not doing anything else. So when sole proprietor means you and your business are just same. There's no difference. All right. When you turn that company into a private limited company or a single founder company, then your bank account and your company's bank account, these are two different things. Okay, so you can pay salaries to yourself, but you cannot anytime withdraw because there's a constant audit and everything that is going on. So that you should always keep in the hindsight. Never jump directly into that.
Right. Ma'am, is our net connection okay? Can you
Yes.
see me and
Hey.
hear me? Okay. So we have another question that, ma'am, how do you go about creating the HealthQ YouTube channel? Like, did you initially have an audience from another social media source, or did the audience come after the channel was created?
So you won't believe, for 6 months, I had 50 subscribers, and these 50 subscribers were my friends and family members. Okay, and no video of mine had got any view more than 4, 5, 6 max. All right. So every YouTube journey starts that way. So there's no as such thing. Okay. And I think how to start YouTube channel, you just go to YouTube itself as a video on how to start a channel. Okay. YouTube again is a very long-term game. It is not a short-term game. Okay. It's not about subscribers. It is also not about likes and all. Okay. So YouTube, you have to give 2 years of time to see whether it is performing or not. No channel till now, until unless if you are a superstar, let's say Alia Bhatt or anything starts a YouTube channel in 1 or 2 days, they will get. But we as in commoners, we have to give 2 years of time, especially at this phase where there's a lot of competition. You know, there are so many people who are running YouTube channels and all. It is still getting tougher day by day to get that visibility. Okay, but having said that, that does not mean that you cannot gain it. So start your channel. What I did, which worked out, was I never knew how to create videos, right? I had no clue about it, and I even didn't knew how I will present it. So I first created a small Facebook group, and I added all my family, close family members into that, and my friends into that. And I created 2, 3 videos in that Facebook group, right? And I took their feedback, individually calling them that I have made this video, please see and tell me how is it, what is going on. And then fifth video was better than all other 4 videos. And then that fifth video was the first video I put it on my YouTube channel. So that's what I did. So what it helped me is in terms of, I got an idea how much time it takes to create a video. Second thing, my camera presence improved. The way you talk in front of camera, because the first video never goes good. It is like disaster. So that helps. And third, when you take feedback, you get an idea how it's going to go. Now coming to how the channel blew up. So as I said, there was no subscribers, 50, 100, something like that. 6th month or 7th month, I created that Bell's Palsy video. Okay. The channel, which was having no subscribers, nothing at all, suddenly saw 3,000 views on one day. And that's how, and even if I reflect back and see what happened, how did it happen, did I do any analytics or anything? I did nothing. So it just happened. Okay. So still I am not able to figure that out, that what works on YouTube in those terms, like what gives virality, because that's an outcome. Outcome is never in our hand. What is in our hand is what you know, deliver that authentically. Okay. And then rest follows. So one video that I created gave a lot of comments. Those comments became the second video, the third video, fourth video, on and off, right? And so I think once you start creating content, the comments that you get, the feedbacks that you get, that itself become your next content. So you don't have to kind of worry. And yet there is something called as block and everything that comes. So take help of your audience itself. Do a poll, ask them what you would like to hear. So yeah, that's how it works.
We have one more question, that 3 advices you would love to give to a student physio who aspires to be a physiopreneur.
Okay. So I think, guys, you are in a very beautiful time right now, if you are still a student, because the horizon of physiotherapy has expanded dramatically. You don't necessarily be into clinicals only or as academics only to be into this domain, right? If you have some extra skill set, you can combine that skill set and your physiotherapy knowledge and create a whole new area or domain into it, right? Just for an example, I'll just say, give you an example. Let's say you're good at calligraphy and design and stuff like that, right? There are so many companies these days who are looking for icons, who are looking for graphics, to put it on their digital platform, right? So you can take a course on UX and UI design, which is available free of cost on YouTube. You don't need to do anything, you just need to learn Adobe and that's it. And again, self-learning tutorials. Use your knowledge of muscles and anatomy, create digital images of that, sell them. You will make way more money than what you're making from clinicals. So that's the beauty of this time, right? So if you are a student, you can try. Again, I would say nobody in this world can give you a suggestion what you should do. You can ask for suggestion, but at the end, do what you want to do, right? So take suggestions, think back, listen to your gut feeling, what you want to do, whether you want to go into clinicals or non-clinicals. If you want to go into non-clinicals, start working immediately. Don't go into your MPTs and all that stuff. Pick a domain, a venture, anything which helps you to learn that skill set more. Marketing, sales, as I said, design is there, HR is there. A lot of things are there, right? And then start getting into that area, working with different physiotherapy-based aspects. Okay, because there are startups which are coming in physiotherapy space. So that is one thing. And let's say if you have interest in clinicals, then definitely pursue MPT, because I think in future, people's demand for niche service is increasing. People don't want to settle for basic services. They want better, more advanced, more good, right? So your depth of knowledge improves when you have done your MPT or a PhD as well. So that is it. And then you can decide on whether you want to go to academics or you want to stay on clinical. So that is a separate, like after MPT, you can think about that. So yeah, this would be my take on it.
So if anyone has any more questions, they can post it. And I also have a question, ma'am, that whenever a startup goes through a tough time, or if you're an entrepreneur, and what are the things to look out for? And if you are in a situation like that, how do you maintain your headspace and bring yourself out of it?
Yeah.
And that's
important actually. So startup or any business, right, will have ups and downs. Very, very straightforward. That thing that's inevitable, right? So when you are jumping into it, you have to be prepared for that. Until unless don't jump into it, right? Now, second thing, what matters, especially for women, I would say, is your support system, because you have family, you have kids, you have to handle them as well. So having a right set of communication upfront with your family members, that this is what I'm dedicating my time and effort and energy to, and I will need your help in doing it, financially as well as emotionally, physically, in every aspect. So have that conversation. Bring your household things, problems, everything settled at first place. Okay, because if household is not working smoothly, and if you go out, half of your mind would be back. So settle that part very first. Have good conversation, maturely say to your in-laws or whoever it is that, see, this is what I want to do and I need your help. Okay, create that support system. So when you are outside your house working on it, your space is 100% focus on it, right? Then second thing that matters is build your emotional intelligence muscle, right? We say IQ, EQ, right? Which is staying okay with tough times. So that I think comes with, again, time, and if you have committed to something, then you cannot go back, because there's so much things that are at stake. You have your team who is dependent on you, right? Your team is looking forward to you. Your family is looking forward to you. So you are holding a responsible position. So create a strong framework of mind. And I think what works in terms of tools is, I guess, meditation works a lot. That is at least my go-to thing, right? I cannot spend a day without meditation. So that gives you that strength to take the day forward. So yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that. So should we wait for some more questions? Ma'am, should we wait for more questions, or should we?
Fine. Okay, so meanwhile, anybody ask anything, I would just like to share this very beautiful thing, which I'm going through an accelerator. So we have been selected in GAIN Accelerator program, which is by Startup India and Startup Karnataka. So we are among the 10 women-led founding companies. We are among that. So we have mentoring sessions where VCs and other entrepreneurs come and give a talk. So we had a very recent one session with one VC. So she gave a very beautiful way of looking at it, right? So what she said is, every year, because this was on the New Year's time, so like every year you have to commit yourself, right, to do something. So we make a lot of resolutions and all. So usually we stay on to a resolution for a few days and then we just back off, right? So she gave another hack for that to us, and I would like to share that with every one of you. Define one word that will be a word for that entire year, right? Like, if you have to define this 2023, what it will stand for. Let's say if you choose resilience as a word for 2023, like, okay, 2023 equals resilience, right? So every time whenever you are hitting low or you are not able to do that you have decided to do, you have to recall that one word for yourself. You can put it in a piece of paper in front of your desk or anywhere, 2023 equals resilience. 2023 equals focus. 2023 equals learning. It could be any one word for you, right? Like, you are dedicating your entire year for this one word, right? Like, you are going to stick on that. So that helps a lot to stay on track, because I guess after January we lose track of our resolution. So yeah, that was one thing that I would like to share to everyone.
Okay, ma'am. So we have another question here that I wanted to know: how do you ask other health professionals to join your team?
Sorry, how do you
ask other health professionals to join your team?
Okay, so I see other health professionals that I have, like I have physios in my team, and then there are no other health professionals. I have tech professionals and editor and those like that. So the way I got them is through Internshala or LinkedIn post. So being active, basically, that's what I said. Your digital presence matters a lot. The more active you are on these platforms, you can build connections and somehow you get referrals. Somebody recommends you someone, and then it goes in.
I hope your question was answered here. Vishna Thakur asked this. Yes. So anything else, ma'am, that you would like to add or you would like to conclude the session, today's session with?
Yeah, so I think it was very nice, nice interacting with all of you, and thank you for patiently listening to me. I see a lot of familiar faces. At least I see Dr. Aditi ma'am, so she's there. Hi ma'am, if you are still watching, and Pallavi was there. So hi Pallavi. Okay, so yeah, I would just like to say the same thing which I said right now. Give a word to yourself, right? What is 2023 going to be for you? And just try to, whenever you feel low or whenever you feel, you are not working in that direction, just try to recall that word. Everything will start falling into the place. So at least I am experiencing that, the recent learning, and it's very helpful. So yeah, that is there. And listen to yourself. Forget about the world, what others says. Okay, you are born for yourself, right? And you are only going to die alone, right? So spend your time, your energy, your effort in fulfilling your own dreams and purposes that you have got.
That was such a beautiful thing to say, ma'am. So thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you, ma'am, for coming once again. It was a very, very helpful and enlightening session.
Thank you.
So we'll be concluding our live session for today. So thank you so much for being a great audience, and good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.